In this video, we'll start getting some other things configured here. First, let's go to Modules and Payment. Now this is how you can decide how you want to accept payments. There's several here: Authorize.net, Authorize.net, eCheck, Cash on Delivery. So you can turn any of these on or off. Free order, if you have a free order, etc. Okay, so just pick the ones you want to use. Well, let's go to PayPal Payment Standard or PayPal Payments Pro. So if you're going to use PayPal, this is where you can do that. And then in here, you can start configuring it. So let's go through an example of configuration with PayPal Standard Payments. Okay, so let's install the module. Okay, now we need to fill these out here. So, well, right here, if it's enabled, so true. Down here, you need to put in your PayPal email address, whatever that's going to be. Now, you need to go to your PayPal account and set some parameters in there and get some parameters from there as well. So what you want to do is log in your PayPal account and then go to Profile. And then what you're going to want to do is go down to Instant Payment Notifications. Now let's go back here. I just canceled out of the module to come in here because there's some settings we need in here. So you need to set your Instant Payment Notification preference URL to this. If you've already got something in there, so let's copy this, then you can just leave whatever's in there alone. So let's go back here. And I've already got something in there, so I can just leave it as is. But you need to make sure that you have this enabled. So if you don't, you would turn it on here and put that URL into this box here that shows up. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is look at the payment data transfer part. So here we have in Website Payment Preferences, set your automatic return URL to this. Back here, and then to Website Payment Preferences, you need Auto Return on, and then you can put the URL in down here. If there's already something in there, then you don't have to put it in. Now roll down a bit and you'll see Payment Data Transfer. Make sure that's on, and then you have an identity token here. You want to grab that and copy. Now let's go back to ZenCart, and these are where our settings are down here. So let's go into edit here. Okay, so there's our PayPal business ID. This is our primary email address for our account. PDT that we just got there. Select our currency. Now here you can have payment method by zone. We just use none here, but when you set up your zones, there's one set up in our demo as Florida, but I'm just going to leave it as none because we want to use this payment method everywhere. Okay, pending notification status, order status. You're not going to want to touch any of these. Refund order status. Okay, down here we have detailed line items in the cart, so it'll share the line items with PayPal or just give it a summary depending on what you set here. Okay, down here if you want the ZenCart address to override the PayPal address, then the shipping address down here, whether you want it to be prompt, not asked, or required. Then the page style here, you can set up page styles in PayPal, and then you can put that page style in here. I'm not going to go over that. That's part of PayPal, but you can choose which style of page you use by putting it in here. Okay, and then the default, the mode for the PayPal web services. This is the default. For the US, you can use this one, or for the UK, you can use this one. Just put in whichever one you need to use. I'm going to leave it the default. And then debugging, we're going to leave off. Click Update. And now our PayPal is all configured. Okay, and then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to take out check or money order. So I'm going to disable it here. But if you wanted it, of course, you could set it up. Okay, so that's how we can set up our payment modules. We're now all set up to take PayPal standard. Okay, back to modules. Let's look at our shipping module. There are different ways we can have shipping. We can have flat rate shipping, as you see here. We can have enable flat rate shipping, and the shipping costs $5 if there's a tax class. We haven't set up tax classes yet. Tax basis based on shipping and shipping zone. So if you want to use the flat rate shipping, this is where you can do it. I'm going to turn that off. Then we're going to go down. Now there's different ways you can do it. Per item, free shipping, store pickup, our table rate, or zone rates. Now to use zone rates, we'd have to set up our zones. Let's go to table rate here. And let's install the module. Now you need to build your shipping table if you're going to use this method. And you can see how it works here. So 25 costs $8.50, 50 costs $5.50, and 10,000 costs $0. Now it's either based on weight, price, or item. So right now we have 25 weight units cost $8.50, 50 weight units cost $5.50, and 10,000 weight units they get no shipping charge. Whether you want to charge a handling fee, and then the handling fee, whether it's per order or per box. The tax class, now there's a default tax class in here, and we'll just use that for now, called taxable goods. We'll set the tax up later, whether it's the tax is based on the shipping, billing, or store address. Usually that's going to be based on the shipping address. You can restrict the shipping method to a zone. Okay, and then the sort order, let's update. And then let's look at zone rates. Let's install a module. Okay, so calculation method, weight, price, or item. Down here, our tax class, we'll go with taxable goods. Tax basis, shipping, we've seen this before. Okay, now you can use a country's ISO code to disable shipping to that country. For instance, down here you see that US and Canada, these are their ISO codes. So our Zone 1 countries, in this example, our Zone 1 countries are US and Canada. Our Zone 1 shipping table, so this again is based on what we set up here, weight. So we have 3 is $8.50, 7 is $10.50, 99 is $20. Now you can set up to 3 different zones now, so we could have Zone 2 countries, again with the ISO characters. For instance, RU might be Russia, and then you can set up different amounts in the table. And you can have as many of these as you want. You don't have to stick with 3 like you see here. And then the handling fee, what it's based on. And Zone 3. So you can set up 3 different zones for your shipping. Let's update. Okay, so that's how you set up the shipping part. Now, order total, this is just how the different parts work. So if we're going to have a COD fee, we can install the module. It's not installed here. Discount coupon, whether include shipping, include tax, and recalculate tax. And then the tax class. Okay, so you can set up all these different things here. Sort order, that's pretty self-explanatory. The lower the number, the higher it's going to appear up there. Okay, so they're basically all have the same options here. Okay, the subtotal, and then tax, and then total. So that's how that works. Now, let's go over to location and taxes. First, we'll start with countries. These are the countries within the system. Okay, so in here, this is where our ISO codes are. Okay, and then we have zones. So these are by country and zones. These are all predefined already. Zone definitions. Remember earlier we saw that we had a zone called Florida, and this is how we set up a zone. So we have Florida local sales tax zone, and if we go in here and edit, this is where we can set up what we want to call it and what the description is. And then tax rate, we go here and we're going to edit. Okay, and remember this is our tax class that was already set up in our sample data, and we can go and rename this, and we can add other tax classes. So there's our zone. Here's where we put in the rate, and this is the description, and it's the priority of the tax. So you may have multiple taxes, and if you do, then you can set them all up in here. So tax rates at the same priority are added, others are compounded. Okay, and then let's go back to tax classes. So this is what I was just talking about. We have taxable goods, that's a tax class. And if we wanted another one here, we could add a new tax class. We could call it, well, whatever other class you needed. If you're in Canada, for instance, you'd need GST or HST. Actually, we probably can't do that. We'd have to do GST. And then we down here in the description, we go DST slash HST. Okay, and then you have another tax class that you could go and change here if you needed to. So you could add a new tax rate. We say GST, the zone. Okay, now we can set up a different zone if we want, but we're working within this one zone so far. So we could put the tax rate in here. GST. And priority 1. Okay, now we have the two different tax rates in there. And I don't really want this one there. I just wanted to show you how to put it in, but we'll delete that one. So what you would need to do is for every region that you're going to sell in and you're going to charge a different tax rate, you're going to need to set them up in here. Let's go over to localization. We have our currencies. Okay, so we have the currencies we're going to use, and then we have the value of the exchange rate. As you see here, we can edit the title, the code, the symbol, left or right, depending on the currency, decimal point, 1,000 point, decimal places, and the value. Okay, so you can do that with all the currencies that you're going to use. Okay, and then languages. This is where you can set up your languages you want to use. We have English as a default, but you can go into here and go new language. You give it a name, a code, the image for the language, the directory where it's located, and the sort order. Now let's just go back to the original here. You'll see that the original, or the English language, is in our includes directory, languages, and then the name of the language. Okay, so that's what you're doing there. You would upload the data into that includes file, or includes directory. Okay, and then order status. We have pending, processing, and delivered, and update. We don't need to change any of these, but if you wanted to add another one, you could define it in here. These are just headings. Okay, so at this point we have our payment set up, our taxes set up, our languages set up, and our shipping set up. We'll continue with setup in the next video.